Hi, moms. Are you tired of endless chaotic weeks, but you don't know where to start fixing the problem? In this video, I'll show you how to find the problem areas in your week and how to start creating the right routines for your family. I'm Farah, and I help busy working moms just like you create an empowering weekly schedule so that they can overcome the overwhelm, burnout, and emptiness that can come with being a working and possibly single mom. I want you to feel present and fulfilled and to be able to make lasting positive memories with your children. I know that you love them dearly and that you want to give them your best. So, this is my first step in that process, which is helping you determine where specifically you need a tune up in your week. By the end of this video, you'll have clarity on what needs to be revamped and you can get started on making it better. So, why do I focus on routines and schedules when the outcome that I want you to have is freedom, calmness, and great memories? For one, routines do provide structure and predictability that our brains crave when we are in a state of overwhelm. There was a study published in the Journal of Affective Disorders in 2020 that found that having consistent daily routines can help lower stress and it can reduce the risk of depression and anxiety. I am a huge mental health advocate, and hopefully, you feel the same way, that you are supportive of people who are struggling with their mental health. So, this is extremely important. Anything that we can do to help reduce depression and anxiety, to me, I think is a wonderful thing. So, that leads me into the second and most powerful reason I focus on helping moms to create more routine, more structure, things like that. And it's because it's what works for me. So, in my very worst, most chaotic points in life, that skill of reacting to chaos and even trauma with structured planning has helped me to overcome my biggest fears and to thrive when I should be barely surviving. I want to use my skill in that to benefit other people like me. So, you. Routines, they're powerful, they're good for our brains, and they work. I think the key to fixing your weekly overwhelm without adding more stress is to find where you need the routine the most. That honestly, like, that's just the beginning of the whole process to me, is where do I need the help? There is that saying, you can't see the forest for the trees, meaning that you can't see the big picture beyond the small details. And I would argue that when it comes to mom overwhelm, the opposite is actually true. We can very clearly see the forest, and of course, it is on fire and it's chaos, and there's a three-ring circus and a village of angry gnomes, and every single part of this forest needs the very best of us immediately at all times. So, in my opinion, trying to be everywhere all at once will get you nowhere. And please quote me on that. I say trying to be everywhere all at once will get you nowhere, in my experience. We need to choose, metaphorically, a tree. We need to choose one place to start when everything looks like chaos. So let's take a moment to reflect and let's think about when you feel the most stressed and frazzled during the week. Is it mornings, dinner time, bedtime, Saturdays? When is it for you? If you're not sure right now, I want you to keep a stress log for the next 7-ish days. Don't let the idea stress you out, and don't make excuses of why you can't do it. For someone like me, if you think like me, my first thought would be, well, okay, I'll do this on the next upcoming Monday so that I can track it in calendar order. No, don't do that. Do not wait. Start doing it now, today. And then my next self-sabotaging thought, if you're anything like me, would be, okay, but how and when am I going to have time to log anything? And my answer to that is, if you can send a text, you can do this stress log. And don't make it overly complicated. All you need to do is either use a notes app, send yourself an email, send yourself a text, put it in your calendar app, whatever is most easy for you, just do that. And then even if it's a temporary thing, do one of those things. And then at the end, the seventh or the eighth day, when you go back to review it all, you can transfer that information into a notebook or a more official tracker if you so choose. So I've told you how to track, and now let me tell you what to track. When you feel overwhelmed or unfulfilled, especially if it's around your kids, I want you to note down the day, the time, and the situation, and that's it. It can be as brief or detailed as you want it to be. They're notes for you. So, most importantly, what I want you to not do is judge yourself. I want you to not judge yourself, okay? Just notice the feeling and log it. Do not criticize it, okay? Be nice to yourself. And if it makes you feel any better, when I last assessed myself, which was a long time ago, or feels like a long time ago, and it's overdue for me. But when I did last, I found myself being most stressed before work, after work, and on the weekends. So basically, when things get really bad for me, like when I have health complications or really particularly discouraging life events, I feel overwhelmed basically at all times when I'm awake. And what I do want to point out is if that's you and you can't even find a single part of your week when you're not overwhelmed, I want you to tell yourself, okay, good job, me, because now you have a starting point, because you were brave enough to admit that nothing or very little is working. So you need to be proud of the fact that identifying the problem is the first step to fixing it. Okay, so take a minute, pat yourself on the back, be proud of the fact that you took a pause and you acknowledge that this is really bad right now for me. And that's okay. So then on the seventh or eighth day, when you're looking over that stress log, I want you to look for patterns. And if you're a person who feels nearly constant overwhelm, try to find which situations were the worst for you. You might find that you have your worst situations around the same time, maybe doing the same activities, maybe even being around the same people or person. And we don't want to place blame on any of these commonalities. We just want to observe them. When we find what our most difficult situations have in common, next we want to think of why and then what's missing that would make those situations better. So as an example, I sometimes find myself stressed out after cooking a delicious meal, which might sound crazy, but when you really look into the why and the what's missing, the reason I feel so stressed is that my best meals require the most cleanup typically. So, I'm often being interrupted after I've cooked, while I'm cooking. So sometimes I don't get around to eating the food until it's already cold, which can be really stressful. And then, I have a ton of mess afterwards that has to be cleaned up. So that's kind of the why. And then what's missing could be any number of things, which this is great. So just like brainstorming on it, it could be what's missing could be help with my dishes or something to entertain the kids with. Maybe it's just a lack of my own personal boundaries. Maybe it's a lack of meal prepping. So when you really break it down, I hope you're actually encouraged to see what's missing, because every item that you can think of that could potentially be missing is just a new solution to try. You don't have to have them all either. So be encouraged by that. You only need the one or the ones that really work for you. And this is the way that you can find them. So now we can talk about how you can get started on making your weeks better. So pick one time frame, whatever is the most stressful, the worst one, when you feel the least fulfilled, the most overwhelmed, the most horrible. And I want you to pick one missing item to try out. So using the cooking example, you're going to meal prep your dinner for the next 5 days, and you're going to have your kids help you clean it up. Anything that you can do to stack mundane tasks with quality time is ideal. So like this is a skill that I learned when I was in university is if you want to connect with someone but you have boring things that you have to do, you can stack those things together. You can do the boring thing with that person and make it better on yourself. That's how you solve the kind of I'm too busy to blank, one of the strategies that I use anyway. So hopefully that is helpful to you. So in this context, maybe you teach your kids how to meal prep, or you tell funny stories while you're cleaning up the dishes. Anything that you can do, making a great memory, that is a phenomenal bonus whenever you can squeeze that in, obviously. So stress does not have to rule your week, and following the steps I laid out in this video will help you start realizing specifically where you can regain control in your week, which is obviously the goal for you. Also, I want you to come back after you started your stress log. So number one, start your stress log today. Okay, after you finish this video, while you're watching this video, I don't know, maybe, hopefully I haven't stressed you out, but just in case. Then in 7 to 8 days, come back here either to YouTube, or if you're watching this on Skool, that's SKOOL, in the Well Planned Working Moms community. I want you to let me know which missing item you are going to try out adding to your week. And then right now, I want you to comment which part of your week you believe is probably the most chaotic before you've started your stress log. Just want to kind of observe and then see if you're right. So make that comment. Where do you think in your week is the most stressful? If you had to just think about it right off the top of your head, then start that stress log. Come back here and let me know which thing you're going to implement. And don't forget to check out that Well Planned Working Moms group on Skool. Again, SKOOL, just skool.com, Well Planned Working Moms, or Well Planned Working Mom. I don't remember if I have it singular or plural, but you will see it. Anyhow, like and subscribe for more videos like this. If you happen to enjoy it, thank you so much for watching and have an incredible day.